Hello everybody. Welcome to the very first of many live streams we'll be doing over the next few weeks on this Twitch channel. We are the streaming solutions for any sort of streaming needs, really, and this is a brand new series we've created called the Development Diaries. Essentially, what it'll be is every week for the next few months we will be bringing in other university game development teams. Like the ones before you here, and we get to showcase all the fun, cool projects we've made, so everyone's made. And then hopefully you get to then see what it's like to go through the development process, and these guys get to talk about all the fun stuff they get to make. So hopefully it should be very fun for everyone involved. Right now we have team, you are Right as Rain, right?
Yep.
Yes, so this is your team game as Right as Rain. Tell me a little bit about first, what was it like coming together, right at the start of this project? What was it like coming from, okay, who are you guys? How do we make a game together?
That was pretty rough.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, our very first meeting in the GA was not great. Our task was just to come up with a general idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just brainstorming different things we might be able to do, and we were spectacularly indecisive. We went through quite a lot of different ideas, but we just couldn't settle on any one of them.
Mm-hmm.
It was it was kind of difficult. We had a couple teammates that were quick to find issues with whatever we tried to give a go. So
What about the other ideas? Were there any fun ones that stood out that you maybe didn't go with?
After about, I think week 2 was when we finally picked our idea.
Yeah.
And it had been narrowed down to 3, which were the ones we liked the most. We had this one, which is our bullet hell. We had a top-down Zelda, where you could manipulate the tile palette in the world, so you could change tiles, and then you could traverse vertically.
Yeah.
And the third one. Oh my God.
Was it the horrible
It was
multiplayer
the parkour
platformer?
platformer. It was the parkour platformer.
Yes. It was designed, the original idea was that it would be a bit like New Super Mario Bros. Wii, where you could mess around with your friends and grab them and throw them and stuff, mixed with sort of horror.
It was supposed to invoke every negative emotion.
Yeah, so you'd get incredibly frustrated at your friends and also horrified at what they just threw you into.
I can see why maybe that idea was left on the floor. Yeah.
Actually, so we ended up doing a vote for all 3 tasks.
It was pretty close.
And I think the bullet hell won by 2 points, and the other 2 were tied. So it was actually much closer than...
You might think, yeah.
Well, but this one won out. So tell me a bit, what is this project as Right as Rain?
So the elevator pitch is... It's a multiplayer bullet hell where one of the players is a traditional bullet hell sort of character, and the other player plays as the boss, which controls the bullet hell. And the whole thing has a weather theme, so it's 2 sentient clouds duking it out in the sky, which is sort of wacky, fairly unique, I think. We tried, when we were doing our sort of original pitch for the whole thing, trying to find some existing market on this, so you could do some market analysis, was quite difficult. Asymmetric,
quite a unique sort of experience.
Yeah. Which obviously is that's good for selling it, the USPs and whatnot. So asymmetric multiplayer was sort of one of the big pillars, as well as bullet hells, and those 2 kind of haven't been.
And variable gameplay.
Yeah, and that too.
Variable gameplay.
Just so anyone that's not familiar, could you explain a bullet hell game?
Oh yeah, so a bullet hell it's generally like a top-down sort of shooter, but the sort of main defining feature is that you'll have to fight some boss that shoots a ungodly number of projectiles onto the screen, and the sort of focus of the game is making sure you sort of dodge and weave through this sort of sea of projectiles. So it's sort of quite a high skill game usually. There's a lot of it attracts a fairly niche hardcore sort of audience. But we've tried to dial that back a little bit, especially considering it's meant to be multiplayer. But yeah, that's the sort of general idea of a bullet hell.
And so where did the sort of weather aspect of all that come in?
We were looking for a theme. Just
Yeah,
any
basically.
theme. Once we decided on our game type, we were like, what's a theme we can end up doing? And I think by far the strongest one was weather.
Yeah, Curtis just suggested.
Curtis just went weather, and we was like, okay, that's a really good one. Let's see if we could think of any more ideas, and we couldn't.
Yeah, so
We couldn't, so we ended up going with weather.
there it was.
And that ended up leading into something else that we really liked,
Oh yeah.
which was great. I don't know. It's not over there, so I don't know if I want to talk about
All
it.
right, no, yeah, you got some secrets. I mean,
So we've got a few secrets.
yeah,
bring it
well,
in,
well, I
bring it
hope
in
so.
next
If you're back every few
Yeah,
weeks,
true.
we want to see
We've got to pace our content,
all the
right?
stuff
Yeah.
you have to offer. Not right now, you know. Keep coming back for more. Right? Yeah.
Basically, there were two things that really kicked it off, and it was dodging raindrops, and
Yeah.
it's raining cats and dogs, and that's really what kicked that area off, and that's really
Yeah.
all I want to say about it.
That's fair. That's
Okay,
fair.
so how did that sort of general, I guess across all aspects, when you come to brainstorm something, whether it's a theme or a game type, how's that been for you as a team to sort of come up with ideas and agree and disagree and work on stuff together?
It was rough in the beginning.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
We
that
weren't-
was.
really, we were shooting down a lot of ideas. Once we just said, okay, just say ideas, don't shoot them down, just throw out any ideas, and then
Yeah.
we'll go back through them and then see which ones we like. And that really helped.
Yeah. It was basically getting to a point where if we didn't have an idea, we'd be pretty significantly behind. So it sort of pressure kind of helped us make a decent decision. And yeah, once we kind of sat and decided we'll try and do this, it might be difficult or weird to design in a couple ways, but if we just give this a go, see if it works. So far, it seems like it's turning out okay. So yeah.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like ideas and such, as humans, you can be very critical. It's very easy to find flaws in anything that isn't your work.
Yeah.
So I can imagine how easy it was for all of you to go, oh, I don't like your idea. My idea is
Yeah.
better.
Yes, there's that, but I also find that you're the most critical of your own work.
And
Yeah,
that-
definitely. Yeah, it's
Uh,
definitely important to do so, and I think. So how has that sort of been for you guys? Now that you've opened up to it and said, all right, we need to sort of work together and not be as critical of each other. How has it been to sort of support each other and give each other feedback working as a team?
It's been really nice.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah,
Working
it's
in
been
a team
quite
has
good.
been really nice for motivation.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
definitely
This
helps.
is my favorite module.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rest of
Yeah,
it.
it's
no,
definitely the most fun to work
I agree
on.
here, yeah.
Mm.
Yes. So once we got past like that first initial idea, and we sort of, I think it was a little bit just a familiarity thing. I know some of this team, I think, has been on a couple projects before already this year, but I was new, and so were you.
I
Yeah,
was new.
Ethan was also new.
Yeah, if
So-
you want to give us a breakdown of like how your team is comes from the different disciplines and
Oh, yeah.
what they work on.
So we've got.
We started with 4 programmers, 4 designers,
Ooh.
and 1 animator.
Nothing changed.
Okay.
Okay.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
4 designers, 4 programmers, and 1 animator.
Yeah.
That's dropped down to 3 programmers, 4 designers, and 1 animator, but
Yeah.
it's roughly stayed the same.
Yeah.
Um,
So mostly design and programming, and then one poor animator that's tasked with
also
quite a
been
lot
doing
of.
all of our art.
Yeah, tasked with quite a lot of stuff.
It's pretty. I've seen a little bit of it. We may get to see a little bit in a
Oh,
bit.
true,
and
true.
It's pretty good art and animation. from
Yeah.
what I've
Well,
seen.
We've all been
Thanks,
taking
Jay.
up some of, like, whenever there's some really simple art, we tend to grab it.
Yeah.
You did some of the concept art.
I've done
that
a little
was
bit
really,
of. I've done a little bit of stuff as well. I
Yeah.
can do a bit of art.
If
but,
we can take some off the animator, we try.
yeah.
Of course, yeah.
And
Yeah.
same with programming. Since we're down a programmer, we try and take up.
Yeah.
The designers try and take up some of the programming as well.
And so I suppose how has that been sort of trying to scope out your project and deciding, all right, this is what we have, this is what we can use, this is what we're capable of doing, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So, sort of, yeah, figuring out what exactly we can do as a team has been a little bit shaky. Especially, there were some points where it was just like a few of us showing up to the different workshops and stuff. So, having a decent gauge on how much progress we could reasonably make as a team has largely depended on how many of us were actually in the team at the time. So more recently, we've managed to keep a fairly consistent 6 or 7 people turning up, and it's been okay, like figuring out how much we think we can do in one sprint or within like a couple days or so.
Yeah, and I suppose how have those sort of sprints been going, and how have you been managing your team each week using like agile methods or whatever?
We've been using an agile method. I'm the main manager of the teams board. We moved into our production like management last sprint. We're in our second production sprint at the moment, the middle of it. We completely overscoped for it.
Yeah.
And so we're just mopping up that overscoped sprint this sprint, and then we'll start again from the next one.
Yeah, we'll sort of pare it down a little
Yeah.
bit.
No, that's a core thing, I think, just being able to recognize. That's the whole point of the sprints, that you say, all right, actually, this is too much work.
Yeah.
Let's dial it
We
back.
only were able to do half of the work that we said we could.
So there we go. We know.
Well, I suppose it's-
So it's like, okay, just have it. Let's start there.
As long as you can pull it back and then actually fix what you've done and moving forward,
Yeah.
not make the same mistakes. That's, I guess, what this whole process is about, isn't it?
Yeah.
In our teams, we have our project manager, which is like all of our tasks. We have a mood board for references to art and anything that we want. We have a brainstorming board, which we haven't used too much, but it's there.
Yeah.
And we have a bunch of channels for like concept art and our agile stand-ups and our general.
Yeah,
which is
just
for-
general stuff.
Yeah,
know.
yeah, no, it's definitely good to keep everything, because we're having a similar, well, we're having an issue with our communication for this team. That there's a lot of not so much documenting,
Right.
and it's obviously very important if, like you said, sometimes there's not always all of you
Yeah.
there. It's important to make sure
Yeah,
everyone
that's
has.
a huge thing actually, is communication is definitely one of like the most important things to get down well. And I think for the most part our team's been pretty good, definitely thanks to Ethan.
I've been forcing a lot.
No, yeah.
Go do agile stand-ups.
Exactly.
Do it now. You forgot. I'm going to kick you.
You're pointing at me for a specific reason.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely like the biggest, or at least one of the biggest factors for making sure you can get stuff done, and also just being motivated to bother with your project is hearing other people saying they're going to work on something, and
You get that sort of guilt of knowing you're not working
yeah,
on
basically.
it. Yeah, no, I
Or
get
There's a
getting
that.
proper-
or someone else saying that's really cool is also really nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
You know.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely being able to work with everyone in your group, saying, "Oh, hey, I made this cool thing. Oh, that's great. I also made this really
Exactly.
cool
And
thing."
being able to
And then-
bounce ideas off each other for
Yeah.
why something
Yeah.
might not be working or how to get something working. Like having a rubber duck
Yeah,
there
basically.
is really nice.
Yeah, that's definitely a great way of working together. I suppose there's also, you know, you can do a lot within your teams. Are you sort of familiar much on what the other teams are doing and sharing ideas between those?
A lot of teams seem to come to our group
Yeah.
during the supervised sessions. We don't go out a lot. A lot of people seem to come to us.
Yes, I've definitely had Kieran come by
Yeah.
once or twice.
Well, I mean, you know, if you stay tuned to this each week, we'll have
That's true.
different
actually. Yeah,
different
we should,
teams to bring it. Yeah, keep an eye on the
Yeah.
competition, see what's going on,
See if
and
we
then,
can steal a couple. I mean, borrow a
Or
couple.
yeah, it's all. They're all great ideas. You're
Yeah,
all
exactly.
lovely. I'm sure you would have come up with it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
in
yeah,
good time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I suppose for this game, if we go a little bit into like, I guess, are any of you the programmers for any of your teams?
Yeah, I'm on computing, but also Ethan does plenty of programming.
Okay, yeah.
I do a lot of
He's,
programming.
he's taught me most of a lot of C# that I didn't know before.
I came in with
so,
7 years of Unity
Yeah.
experience, so I'm pretty familiar with programming in C#.
yeah,
So you're making this game in Unity and
yeah,
C#.
Unity
okay,
C#.
okay.
Yeah.
So what was the decision behind that?
That was the requirement.
I think so.
Oh, is it?
It's a requirement.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
how
Also,
much
I
I
will
know.
be pushing very hard for Unity.
For Unity and
because
C#, yeah, that's
it's
fair.
something I can help a lot in.
Yeah, clearly you
Yeah.
know plenty of it. So
So I suppose, how has that been then, sort of working? Is I suppose something you're familiar with, something you're sort of getting
sort
into
of,
now.
yeah.
How has that been starting this big project?
I've done a little bit of Unity before, but not nearly as much as I've learned right now. And for the most part, it's been good. There's a couple, not actually base Unity stuff, but packages, so like extra bits you can install into Unity that have been pretty temperamental. I've sort of been the head of trying to wrangle that and making sure everything's working, but God, it's frustrating.
You're our input guy and our multiplayer guy, and
the,
I'm so glad it's not me.
it's rough, but for the most part, Unity is quite nice to.
Yeah, I suppose you're working with a lot of like packages and stuff that you're not familiar with.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, how do I do this? All right, well, I found this package online.
Yeah, find this package.
Why doesn't this code work?
Search it up. Look at the documentation. Yeah.
And I suppose it's great that having someone like you with.
Yeah.
And I assume your other programmers are also.
I completely restructured 3 of our systems.
He does kind of jump scare me sometimes.
You just come in and say, "Oh, why does it? Oh, that's not the code I wrote."
Yeah. It'll be like within 1 or 2 commits on the GitHub. It'll be just a completely restructured code base, and I'll have to decipher what he's.
I have started writing documentation for it.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Oh, okay, so going from make sure you do your stand-ups, make sure you document everything.
Yeah.
No, so
You don't
I
actually.
I do write stand-ups. I just
stand-ups.
have to write documentation for my new code.
Yeah. See, that's I got to read through documentation for packages, Unity, and also my team members' code. It's crazy.
Great, you gotta learn all this stuff.
I
How
know.
does this work? How do you work?
Yeah.
What have you done? What's going on?
But no, it's
I
fine.
suppose
for
how's
the
that
most
been
part.
then? Sort of keeping, I guess, using GitHub and Fork to go
Yeah.
through everything. How has that been collaborating all your work together in the same space?
Yeah, I thought I was quite scared of collaborative fork when we started doing this project because I don't think either of. Oh no, I suppose GAM 101 had collaborative fork, but
Not necessarily. You could have done a board game, but
Yeah.
I don't think anyone did a board game.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
but I
Okay.
did card game.
yeah, okay. But yeah, doing like a big sort of team GitHub thing was a little intimidating because obviously if you make some changes and someone else makes some changes and they don't line up entirely, then you've got to go in and figure out which parts you want to keep, what you want to change, and so on.
Yeah, it's like which one of you is right. In
Yeah,
what
basically.
in what you've
It
done.
just relies on communication.
But yeah, so yeah, for one, our communication's been pretty good, so we don't have to worry too much about merge conflicts. And for the most part, even when they do happen, they're usually fairly clear which one you can, pick. So
and we
it's
haven't had to revert the project at any point.
no.
So nothing major has happened.
Yeah,
So
fingers
it's
crossed. You still got another couple,
Oh,
another couple months.
God damn it.
Who knows what can happen? This is week 1 of many.
Yeah.
If we come back in 2 weeks,
So yeah, next.
Yeah, you might be
next
hearing
week,
about
we had to
coconut.
restructure our entire
Alright,
project.
It's all gone.
How's alright? Hi guys, how's it? Oh, you're all just gone.
I also have a backup of all of our files because I'm so scared of it.
Oh,
Be a
man.
different team here in 2 weeks' time. Oh, these guys are great. Yeah, they were really lovely.
Yeah.
They seem really passionate about their project. Out of it.
And the coconut appeared.
No, God.
So, how far through are you right now in terms of the project? In terms of, I guess end is done. You're ready to
For
ship.
our
Yeah.
so they have given us a production schedule that they want us to follow. I created a production schedule for our pitch that I wanted to follow.
Do you
that's
have
what
that
we've
on
been
the
following. The presentation might be on there.
Is it the pitch presentation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's.
But I think I know the numbers.
Okay.
Basically, we are in the middle of our production section. So
Yeah.
we ended pre-production pretty much at the start of this term, and we started, and we had a sprint. Now we're in the middle of our second production sprint, and then March 28th we should move on to our post-production sprint, which will be bug fixing and just mopping up any issues. Since it's agile, we can always go back, but the goal is to have plenty of time to bug fix and polish.
Yeah.
And that's the goal.
That's true. That is a very important thing that we've been warned about. So I guess you'll hear later maybe.
And also
Yeah,
Easter
well,
break is in the middle of that, so it's really it's set up to be an 8-week cycle. It's not. It's probably 6.
Okay.
We'll see how much you've got
Yeah.
done in 6 weeks' time. 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So I suppose what if you're in the middle of your second sprint at the moment?
Mhm.
What does that entail at the moment? What is everyone working on in each element of the group?
We've broken it up into really 4 sections of content, which is player power-ups, player primary attacks, player secondary attacks, and then boss attacks.
Yeah.
And then miscellaneous, which is like UI and stuff. That's roughly what we've got it as.
Yeah. So we've just been sort of creating various attacks basically. So different ways to shoot bullets.
Master's Lego bricks is over here.
Yeah, I don't know Unity very well. I only started using it in September. And so basically everything I make modular. So you want damage, you have that as a separate script that you can chuck in. You want it to home towards a certain character, and then you chuck it all together and it all works.
You were the king of taking something that I thought was very specific and saying, no, I'm going to combine it with these 6 other things and have it be completely, totally unrelated other things.
It's amazing.
That's genuinely ideal. It's really good to work.
You're always meshing stuff together. If everyone's working on different code,
Yeah.
at some point they all have to come together.
Yeah.
What's another
Yeah.
couple hundred things?
Yeah. It was like the last thing was I was making a tornado attack that pulls in the player, but I didn't know how to make it, so when it touched it would push like a knockback type effect. So I took the knockback off of our boss enemy and
It's
just
the
chucked
same
it on.
thing.
There was already a standalone script
Yeah.
that did that, and you just went,
Yeah, it was-
Knockback's knockback. It's all the
Exactly.
same. You're over there, buddy.
Yeah.
Knockback is knockback.
pretty much.
Exactly. I'm a little bit conscious of time.
Oh.
Do you have a few things you could show us?
That I
Yeah, do you
Right.
wanna
Yes.
Yeah.
load up
If
the
you
thing?
want to go and take a seat. The headphones on.
Nice.
We'll get that pulled up.
So we can take a look at the pitch presentation,
And
I suppose.
I'm really hoping production remembers to unmute that microphone. This is a verbal reminder. Probably. We can hear you.
Is it working? Can I get an affirmation?
Probably. There
Hey.
you go.
There you go.
Yeah, so if you pull up that one, and yeah, we can look over here. Okay, so we have a few different things here.
Is it a zip file? No. Okay.
I do not have the presentation. That's all right.
Oh, we might, but it'll be on my Teams.
There's our fella.
All right, so what do we got here? What is this?
So this
This
is our boss
is-
character,
yes.
and this is one of the walk cycles that our animator has made.
Uh,
Can't speak too much about this because I didn't make it. None of us here made it, but it has caused a few issues with like setting the right anchors. Yeah, this is our character named Boss. Not in here.
we could do a quick.
In the pitch, yeah.
Okay. There is
Uh,
quite the
yeah,
size
this-
difference between the two.
Then we
of them.
have this, which is not our new raindrop. This was the raindrop that was sent in and then we redid on the fly.
So is this the current working raindrop?
So
Yes.
technically, yes. Yep, the player attack. But this GIF is not the one used in game because it's got a white background, and we couldn't use the one with the white background.
Made this thing at home, and me being the intelligent man that I am, completely forgot to either email it to myself, save it to a OneDrive, or bring my laptop in. So
Three methods you had.
lots
Lots
of different ways I could have
and
brought
probably
it in.
some others as well.
Yeah, honestly, that was pretty stupid of me. So, and this was just before the assessment thing. So, it really would have been good to have this in the build while we were showing it off to the lecturers, and all we
wow.
had was this GIF on Teams. So I kind of had to deconstruct it and then recreate it as a as the raindrop in the game.
I mean, who knows?
We
Maybe
did
you
it in
could,
about like 10 minutes.
yeah. Maybe you can
pretty
chuck
good.
that little white background GIF in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That'll be
We'll
the
have a-
coconut.
Yeah, that's the coconut.
That's the
Yeah,
code.
You'll find it somewhere.
All right.
What else do we have?
All right. Here is our. This is one of our attacks that I worked on this week. Almost
Nice
a minute.
curtains.
So when you run us through what's going on here.
So, this attack is created when the boss hits a certain button. It's supposed to be a bunch of waves of projectiles that are horizontal and that rain down from the top of the screen. But I wanted the boss to have a little bit of control over them, so you can also slightly angle the direction that they come in from. So when it gets created, it starts the attack, which is this right here, and it sets the position of it. And then throughout the duration of the attack, it will set its it will set the rotation, which is this right here, based on the boss's aiming direction. But I wanted it so you couldn't come at the player from all directions at once. So I added a maximum amount of deflection, angle deflection that you could do, which is this right here, this right here. So you can only rotate by a certain amount per wave. And then it creates a whole bunch of bullets, which is not the best solution because it's very CPU intensive.
Yeah, it works.
If it works, it works. That's the motto, the programming motto.
And then the way we have
Works, don't fix it.
the power-ups to spawn is that the boss attacks will spawn in little coins that the player can pick up. And when they pick up enough, that's when they spawn. So this right here attaches a percentage chance for the bullets to spawn to spawn those coins.
Right.
And then it loops. And once it's done all the loops, it destroys itself.
Yeah.
So
You'll
that's that
notice, actually, could you just scroll through real quick? Yeah, you'll notice that there's exactly one comment in this entire script.
I will go through and add comments.
So
This
next
is the
time
kind of-
I expect to see that code again with comments.
Yeah.
Uh,
This one might have more because this is actually a much more important
God.
attack.
Oh
nope,
God.
it doesn't.
This is
okay.
the whole controller.
Yeah.
It's got a couple more.
It's got a
Like,
couple more. It's got a few.
Four?
Okay, so this has been a pretty collaborative script. So this
Yeah,
is
that's true.
the main controller for
Um,
Nimboss.
This is as much Ethan's fault as my own.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Jesse's also helped with this one.
And Jesse. God.
Yeah, so this is a pretty collaborative script. So this controls the boss's movement, aim, and attacks. So you're getting a bunch of references at the start. The main thing I can talk about is attacking because that's what I worked on.
Yeah.
So it's adding a bunch of checks to see if for cooldown management, so you can't spam attacks. Right here. And then in here, it's subscribing and unsubscribing to a bunch of the buttons that when you press. So when you press this button, it will do attack. I'm not going to.
Fair enough, yep.
Oh, no.
You know, do attack.
It will,
Do
it will do
that
attack,
function.
but that's not quite what it's doing yet. It's figuring out which attack it's going to do, and then it performs this horrible conversion.
Oh God.
This is
This-
probably the worst function I have ever written.
This makes me genuinely upset.
Basically, what it's doing is it's taking this string right here, this set of characters. It's taking the final character, and then it's converting that to an integer. And for some reason, when you convert a number to an integer, it doesn't turn it into an integer. It turns it into an integer plus 48.
So for whatever reason,
For whatever reason, I can't figure out. It's not the alphabet because the alphabet's 26 letters. So it's not the alphabet.
it's not the alphabet.
So I had to subtract 48. That's why there's a random 48 in here. And then finally, it actually does the attack based on that horrible conversion.
Well, it's all
Yes.
part of the problem solving. Yeah, you
It
figured
did
out.
solve a
Exactly.
problem,
Yeah.
but it is so temperamental that if we change something, it might break later.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess that's something we'll find out in 2 weeks' time. Hey, how's the project going? Broke.
Yep.
It's broken.
Doesn't work
Everything's
anymore.
broken.
And then here's the actual attack. So it checks if the boss is telegraphing, so if it's doing an animation currently.
Man.
And then it's checking that list of checks to see if it is attacking, so it can't spam attacks. And if it isn't, it will do a whole bunch of math and checks to see which kind of attack it should do. And then once it's figured out what kind of attack it should do and what its settings are, it will finally create a warning and then a delay, and then it'll actually create the attack, which will summon something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So this will be exciting to see in a few weeks' time all the different attacks you'll have laid out
Yeah.
and maybe see them.
It'd be good to do a
Yeah.
little demo or something, maybe.
But I think that is roughly all the time we have for you this week, though.
Okie doke.
So it's been great seeing what you have to offer this
Yeah.
week. It'll be very exciting to see what you have in 2 weeks' time. See
If we've
some-
got anything.
some more fun facts. I don't know, maybe a raindrop animation that doesn't have a
yeah.
white background.
Maybe.
I mean, there is one.
Maybe, yeah, it'll be fun to see that. But
No promises.
yeah, but thank you all for coming in this week.
Yeah, thank you for
and
having us.
excited to see you in a few weeks. But if everyone stays tuned, we'll take a short 5-minute break and then we'll be back with a different team.
Cool.